the same day. Mary says, another gift from the mother on the occasion of my feast. There are two other sentences in the Gospel referring to me, which you interpret more or less adequately. I will explain them to you. Matthew says, while Jesus was speaking, his mother and his brothers were outside, trying to speak to him. Someone said, your mother and your brothers are looking for you. But he replied, who is my mother, and who are my brothers? Here is my mother, and here are my brothers, whoever does the will of my Father. A repudiation of his mother? No. Praise for his mother, who was perfect in doing the will of the Father. My Jesus well knew the will that I was carrying out, a will which I had made my own, and before which I do not draw back, even if every lapsing minute repeated to me like a blow upon a nail driven into my heart, this ends with Calvary. He knew well that I had deserved to be the mother of God, because I had done this will, and if I had not done it, he would not have had me as a mother. Therefore, among all those who listened to him, as one bound to him by a tie superior to the blood, by a supernatural link, I was the first among all the disciples in time and in knowledge, for the word of God had been instructing me since the period when I bore him in my womb. I was his mother, in the meaning he attached to his divine words, and, together with the human recognition of the listeners, he gave me his divine recognition as a true mother, for I gave life to the will of his Father and mine. Luke narrates that while Jesus was speaking, a woman said, blessed is the womb that bore you, and the breast which gave you milk. My son replied, rather, blessed are those who hear the word of God and observe it. To be the mother of Jesus was a grace it was not licit for me to boast of. Among the millions and millions of souls created by the Father, by an inscrutable decree, he chose mine to be without stain. The Eternal does not want me to humble myself in heaven, for he made me queen in the happy instant in which, on leaving the earth, I was encircled by the embrace of my Son. This was my intense longing in the time of separation, a desire which consumed me like a burning lamp. But, if he so permitted, I would eternally remain prostrated before his radiance, so as to humble my whole self in his sight, in remembrance of his benign decree, which gave me a soul baptized before all souls, not with water and salt, but with the fire of his love. His having fed at my breast could not stir up the flames of pride in me either. He could not have come upon the earth to be the evangelizer and redeemer, without lowering his incarnate divinity to the natural needs of an infant. As he rose into heaven after his mission, so he could have descended from heaven to begin it, endowed with an adult, perfect body, necessary for your heaviness as fleshly beings. My Lord and Son can do all, and I was nothing but an instrument to make the real incarnation of God, most pure Spirit, as Jesus Christ, the Son of Mary, more comprehensible and persuasive for you. But to have observed the Word of God and refined the senses of the soul with total purity since childhood, this was greatness, and to have listened to the Word, who was my Son, to make it my bread and fuse myself increasingly to my Lord, this was blessedness. O Holy Word, the gift given to God's beloved ones, a robe of fire that surround with splendors, life that become the life of those to whom you give yourself, may you be loved more and more by them, as I loved you in ardor and humility. Work in these children of mine, O most holy Word, for you took them as mine at the foot of the cross, to bring comfort to my agony as a mother, whose adored Son has been slain, and led them to heaven along a way of shining truths and impassioned works. Lead them onto my heart, where you slept as an infant and rested when slain, where there are still drops of your most holy blood and my weeping, so that the residue of their humanity will be dissolved on contact with it, and they, luminous with your light, may enter with you into the city where everything is eternal perfection, and where you reign, and will reign, my holy Son. Jesus says, tell Father, footnote, Father Migliorini, that among the probatory considerations is the fact that the dictations, in view of their content, certainly cannot emerge from a heart which special occurrences lead to become agitated by creating thoughts contrary to those you are writing. Among them, let Father observe the texts written on the days surrounding your mother's death, footnote mentioned in note 177, and recently the one on December 6th. Let him add this consideration to the others. It is a certain proof of the non-human source of your writings.